What up? What up, good people of Mother Earth or planet Earth?
Yo.
Or both. Both.
Yeah, I think it was Mother Earth. I mean, I think is it Mother Earth?
But it's Mother Nature.
Mother Nature. Mother Nature.
Yeah.
It's either God's wrath or Mother Nature.
I think she goes by many names.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like
No relation to Mother Goose though. Completely different.
a different line of mothers.
Yeah.
Happy
Same person.
Same person. That's crazy. You know, Mother is a pretty standard name. It seems like, you know, like John Smith, Mother. Like there's probably more mothers than there is John Smiths. Probably.
There's another mother up there, but she's on more of the on the evil side. We don't really talk about her too much. Now you think about it when you come back, I'll figure.
I don't even know. The only one I can come up with right now is not the one I'm gonna say.
That's the one I'm not gonna say either.
Welcome to the PR project, where we only talk about appropriate situations. We don't drop bad names or words on this show. This is a child's podcast for the kids.
Mother Teresa.
Mother Teresa. Is that who you're talking about?
No, but that's a good one.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, welcome to the PR project, guys. Episode 80. We getting closer. It seems crazy. Like it's crazy. Every week we get a little closer to getting to 100. It's kind of crazy.
Math is insane sometimes.
You know what?
Like that.
You know it's crazy. Icebergs. I'm telling you.
But yeah, no, it's exciting. I mean, time is just a construct, but yeah, it's pretty.
I mean, it really is.
Time is a flat circle.
Speaking of flat, so
dropping bars. Flat circle is just almost blew my mind. But we talked about this on one of the runs though, the 100,000 year thing. Every time I've been talking about that more and more. Every time I bring this concept up to people, like 100,000 years, people kind of start seeing what I'm saying. Because if you just say 100,000 years, it's like, oh, that's not that bad. But if you go 1,000 and you think about where we were as like a people and 1,000 years ago, and then you say 10,000, your mind is like, holy crap, 90,000 plus that.
Yeah, no, I don't do those kind of substances to think that deeply anymore.
And is that a face of like you're seeing where I'm going? Or is it
no? It was just me, wondering how this podcast, how this episode is veered into the Terrence Howard realm.
Did you listen to any of that?
I just saw clips and stuff.
Oh, you did? I'm surprised. Like somebody was like, "Oh man, he's super smart, bro," and I'm like, I don't know. But let's not get into the
Yeah.
Let's not get into the Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard podcast. Anyway, so welcome to the PR project. If you ran today, let us know where you ran at and from. The trials is going on right now. So if you were watching the trials while watching us, hats off to you for being a multitasker. And then also let us know like your favorite moment so far of the trials. Let us know what you're looking forward to tonight. What do we have? What's the rest of today looking like? Is all finals, obviously.
I think the closer tonight's going to be the women's 400-meter hurdles, with Sydney.
Women's 400-meter hurdles. Right before that is men's 400-meter hurdles. Yeah. Ry Benjamin has been like jogging his way through all the races. Like it's almost like I understand why you're running like that, but at the same time, it's like everybody else in the race has to be like, what is happening?
Yeah, 1,500.
It's crazy when you can get a group. Yeah, it's crazy when you get a group of the best athletes in a whole country, and there's still people who like just dominate, like are still just like a class above. It just shows you that there's levels to athletics.
Yeah, like Gabby Thomas was doing that a bit, like for the rest of them, for her heat and then the semis. But then last night she did win pretty like with a good distance, but it wasn't as a blow away. And she looks like she's primed to do something in Paris too, though.
Yeah, even Sydney McLaughlin Lavroni and her prelims. I mean, just
easy
20 seconds, like 9 seconds. I think there was 9 seconds or 9 meters ahead the whole race. Like it was just nobody was near her at all.
Women's 1500 about to go off right now. Or did it already start, Gary?
Just started.
Okay. Yeah, I think I was behind. Speaking of
really quick before we do that, they said I think Sydney McLaughlin would have beat 3 of the men in the 400 hurdle heats yesterday.
I have no doubt.
Yeah,
3 men. Like literally, her time would have beat 3 of the men from the men's heat in the 400 hurdle.
She needed to get out there and do it.
This is just a comment I saw. So maybe it's not true, but it sounded right to me. So I'm just saying
it sounded right
spreading
to me.
misinformation out there.
It sounded right to me. But no, like even like last year or maybe a couple of years ago by now, they were saying that like her 400 time at one of the races would have qualified her for the 400 team for the Worlds or something like that.
Actually, I'm surprised. I thought this was going to be the year she was going to go for the 400 flat, not the hurdles. So,
yeah, I was surprised.
I thought so too.
Yeah. But it got to be a reason for it.
Probably didn't want to spread herself that thin.
Yeah, because those are two pretty.
That's a lot to try to take on.
Yeah,
pretty demanding races, and depending on the schedule too, like how close are they in Paris? You know, maybe here she could probably handle it, but in Paris, like I'm not trying to mess around. So the women's 1500 is going off. Ellie St. Pierre is a monster.
Yeah.
Like from, and then obviously we got a bunch of people in this race. Nikki Hiltz is in there going crazy. But yeah, so shout out to everybody that did say they ran today. Mark Vanderkoy says he got 12 miles out the front door. The front door is always, if you're going double digits, sometimes front door is almost always the best way to go sometimes. Almost always the best way to go sometimes. Pretty emphatic statement of me right there.
Yeah, that's a deep
quite the declaration.
Yeah, I'm not wishy-washy at all. Steve McKellar says 11 miles this morning, nice and cool after some serious humidity these days before. Today felt like a gift from heaven.
Yeah. Yeah. Even with the wind, the wind was kind of strong, but it instant like air conditioning just cooled me right off. Felt like I could just keep going. Yeah, it was great.
Now I must say I did a workout today, and when I turned to do the last few intervals of my workout, it was dead into the wind, and it seemed like I was going as fast as I possibly could just to barely hang on to the pace. So I could have done without that, because I turned right, Gary, where you guys went straight. I turned right, and I think I paid for that. I paid dearly for that.
I did.
Go ahead.
I slept through the link up, but I ran out my front door as well, and I had 12 miles. In the first 6 miles were, for the most part, with the wind to my back, and then the last 6 miles to the wind.
Hold on, Aaron. We're about to finish the top 3 in the women's 1500. Nikki Hiltz just took first place, and someone looks like they're trying not to fall.
You are a little bit ahead of me.
Oh yeah. Nikki Hiltz just won the women's 1500, and the cool thing is this is a national meet, so like you're like the national champion too. So it's not just trials champ, but dope going to Paris. That's crazy.
Good for them.
Sorry, Aaron.
No, it's fine. That's a little more important.
No, so one thing that I like, I just keep thinking about in these moments, like you see like Nikki Hiltz right now on the ground, you know, like crying and just happiness, right? And then in the same moment, less than a second later, there's someone whose like heart is broken, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking Sinclair Johnson was like in the mix the whole race, and she comes in 4th. You know, like in the mind, you're like, if I can just hold this, I'm going to be on the Olympic team, you know, and all the hard work is going to pay off. And then the last lap, you just can't hang on, and it sucks so bad.
Yeah, Hobbs Kessler Hobbs Kessler's going to the Olympics for 2 races, the 800 and the 15, right, Gary? Right? 15?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's dope. A Michigan fella.
And it was cool to see him say like his goal in the 1500 was just to make the final. He was like, my goal is just to make the final in this because I don't know if I'll be able to do both races in the Olympics. So
yeah,
he won the semi to get into the final, and then I didn't see the final, but you guys said he made the team. So.
Yeah, I think he won the final. Wow. And then the guy
he might have. I just don't remember.
And then the guy Brandon Miller. I think he won the final. I'm not sure, but then the other guy Brandon Miller that's also just finished for the 800. They both ran PRs. Their PRs in the 1500 in that race the other day, and they're both going for both teams, which is crazy. That's awesome.
Crazy.
Well, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't think that's true. But he is going for two teams. Hobbs is for sure. I don't know about the Brandon Miller guy though.
Yeah, he is. Men's 800 was today. Bryce, Hoppel, Hobbs Kessler, Brandon Miller.
Yep. I just don't know. I don't know if I think Brandon Miller and Hobbs ran their PRs for the 800 semi. That's what it was. Okay.
I know Miller did. Miller did. I was watching that.
Yeah. That was a good race too.
He's running the race of his life in the semifinal.
Yeah. So many good races. So many like really cool moments. Some sad moments too for people that we were like rooting for. Winnie Colati crushed in the 5,000. Was that? No, that was 10,000. I'm sorry, 10,000 meter.
10,000
last night. My girl Kira did make it in, but she said she was happy with her 10th place, and they fought through. That was one of those races. Like, and I keep forgetting, like, 'cause we're watching it here, and it just doesn't. It like the heat doesn't translate. Like when you're watching it doesn't look hot, but I think it's been like consistently like 80 degrees.
Yeah, they're constantly talking about like, oh, good, the shade's coming in. This should help cool these runners off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I hate to be that guy, but being as someone that has been a spectator at Hayward Field, it's really a difference. We spent one of the days of Worlds on the side of the shade, and it was amazing. And then we spent another day up in the second deck, right into the sun, and we were baking. Cooked. So Hayward is unforgiving in that way for sure.
It's 81, mostly sunny right now, and these people are just going nuts. Which is, I mean, they're just monsters. People like I just don't understand.
They're not human.
Yeah, they're not human for real. But yeah, so we got some housekeeping to do today. Number one, thank you so much to everybody who is involved in Summer Speed. If you're listening to this and you're not in Summer Speed, it's not over with. You can still join. Go to our Instagram page at the.pr.project on Instagram to figure out how to join, and it'll lead you to Strava and do all the things. For everybody that's watching that and listening, who if you are involved in it, make sure you get on Instagram, post some stuff with your PUMA shoes on. If you already have some, post something with your PUMA shoes with you running or training or whatever. Tag us, do all the tags that you're supposed to do for Summer Speed, and we'll add your name into the list one more time. Gary actually texted me that other name, because we had one person that followed through with that, so his name will show up twice in the Wheel of Fortune, the Wheel of PUMA, and he'll have an extra chance to win. So we'll do that every week, and you don't get to stay on there. You have to just kind of refresh every week. Which if you already have a pair of Pumas, then great. If you don't, I feel like I was talking to Aaron about it. Like, it's kind of worth it. Like, low key, like if I was in the competition, it's like it's Pumas. If you're buying a Deviate Nitro 2 or a Velocity or like any Puma for real, like if you just try them on and see if you like them, that's not a wasted shoe. Like, you're gonna put some good miles in that shoe, because Puma's training shoes are way up. I mean, yeah, Puma's training shoes are legit.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one might be either the Velocity 2, Aaron, that one that was like yellowish, like muted yellow, I think it was. And those are fire. And they're for me, You've ruined me. Hold on, sorry. You ruined my whole vibe, Aaron. Forever, I think now. I bet you're wondering what I'm talking about. I used to always be like, okay, after like a big workout or a big training run or like a long run or something like that, I used to always go like, okay, let me grab a cushy shoe. And then you said something one day that was like, yeah, like I've been trying to like lean towards like more of a not minimal really, but less shoe, less foam to like feel a little better and faster. And then one day I'm like, let me try it out. So I think I might have threw on some Pumas one day, and yeah, it was a Puma DVA 2, and it was like, oh, my legs are alive. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes like that, all that foam and like those big super trainers, they're perfect for certain things. But since you said that, I can't even put them on after like a big day. I think I could wear them on like a long.
It's kind of weird, but it makes sense. Like if your legs are like kind of dead, to like push them into a shoe with a bunch of foam, it almost seems like you have to work harder. Whereas if you just, you have a smaller stack height, a lower stack height, and you can feel the ground a little more, like your legs feel like they have a little more pop, and you can feel them a little more. So I don't know. That's definitely kind of been my thing.
It's almost like a little jolt to the system, you're kind of feeling that ground a bit more, and closer to the earth type thing, but you can kind of feel like your legs working and kind of getting back to where they need to be, for sure.
Yeah, it's like they wake them up, like they wake them up a bit. It's like, because if they're dead already, but I mean, I guess if you're on, got a lot of foam and you're landing and it's kind of sinking in, and it's like it's not necessarily just like back up, like you don't have the strength really to push through that, Like, and I think like I could like a long run day, like for some of these like super trainers, perfect, because like you just time on feet, get out there, you're feeling pretty good because Saturday's no work or whatever. For you it is, but like yeah, so like I think that you ruined me for that, but I've been having a good time though. Like I've been like grabbing some shoes that I didn't like at first because it was like, nah, I need something more. And then now I'm like, all right, okay, cool. We got this, Like I've tried shoes that I just wouldn't wear.
I've been definitely focused on that more as well. Like the simpler shoe this cycle. I'm not training hard like you guys have been, but I definitely want to like strengthen my feet, if anything else, make my feet feel like my feet, stronger legs, kind of work my way back up.
Man, Ry Benjamin is going crazy right now. Like he's actually running. This is the first one he's actually run all the way. And he is blowing them away.
Tommy is a bit distracted, people. But yeah.
Gary, I mean, this is the last day that we'll be distracted by the trials. I mean, the trials ends tonight. Ry Benjamin just ran a 46-47, 400 meter
hurdle. Like 34 days until the Olympics. It won't be. Oh, right. The Olympics won't be going on when we're streaming. I don't think so. Because in
Paris is 8 hours ahead or something like that.
Yeah, it just depends on when NBC wants to show it.
Yeah,
our good friends at NBC.
Our good friends at NBC. We did not stream the thing last week. Yeah. But how was your run, Gary, today?
It was pretty good. I feel like I'm getting slowly but surely getting back into it. It was my first 40+ week, and I don't know how long, 40 miles. And I looked it up. I had not run double digits since the Eugene Marathon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Were you happy about that?
I'm feeling good. I got another dry needling session coming up on Tuesday. So working with that. And then I got a DM from Chris Grabowski.
Okay.
Hey, bud. He came up with an idea. He had a saline injection done that separates the piriformis from the sciatic nerve. And he said that's been working for a year. So I got to do some research on that. But if nothing's working, that might be an option as well. So lots of things in motion to kind of get me back to doing some stronger, harder running.
That's interesting. That sounds like something worth looking into for, if you.
Yeah. I was telling Joe today, I doubt I'll get in a race this year, this summer at least. So focused on getting fast, but in terms of like getting out there and racing, I don't know if that's going to happen, but just save everything up, get stronger for, a spring marathon or something.
Yeah, no, that's probably smart. Yeah, I mean, there's no rush. I mean, you just got to chill out maybe a little bit. Make sure you're 100%.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so we got some questions in the chat here. Team 83 Elite says, if you share your runs on Strava every week, is this just one entry? Yes, if because that's one of the asks. I mean, it's not mandatory, obviously. But that's just like one of the asks. If we do something with PUMA, kind of for PUMA, showcasing PUMA, that's an additional entry. So yeah, if you could just drop it on Instagram. If you're posting something on that has Strava, that has PUMA on Strava, just jump over to Instagram. Just drop it really quick and
yeah. But please continue to share on Strava. We like seeing everybody's workouts.
I mean, that's really where the community is too. Yeah. This part of this is because we're gonna do that. The three of us, are gonna do Summer of Speed regardless. I mean, it's just how we've been operating the last couple of years. We just go after it in the summer, have some fun, get faster, all that stuff. But this part of it is like to have a more community around it and do this thing together and hopefully start sharing some of our results and 5Ks and all that stuff. And apparently I'm 10K shorty because I'm never going to run anything else other than 10K. It seems like I got one next week that I'm looking forward to, but also dreading.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So not leave that out in the open. I'm going to Peachtree Road Race next week. The 10K. It's the largest 10K in the world, which I wasn't aware of until just recently. But the largest 10K in the world. There also it's a fairly hilly race. It's 440 something feet of elevation gain in the 10K, and apparently most of it is in the second half of the race, which is fun. So it's the first half is pretty downhill. So I'm just gonna probably my coach says to do marathon pace all the way through and treat it like a real training run, not 10K pace. So I think I'll probably do 10K pace or half marathon pace, like down, like in the first half, and then try to hold marathon pace as much as I can in the second half of the race.
I hate to disagree with coach here, but I think you just need to go all the way in, hit that hill as hard as you can.
Mile PR in the first mile.
We're talking like maybe get down to 15 5K and then just hold on for dear life. I think that's the way to do it.
Yeah, I think that'll probably happen. Like, because
it's the largest 10K road race in the world. Like, how do you not make your mark?
It's true. And it'll be like in a largest 10K in the world. I feel like you'd have more of an opportunity to run with other people running your pace. Because like if you go to like some of these smaller 10Ks, you'll not in the A. You'll in the smaller races, you end up running alone in the 10K often.
Yeah, right?
Everything is fine. I'm not immature. So the cool thing about this episode, we actually have a guest coming on the show fairly shortly. Let's Nicholas, what's going on, brother? Let's get into one of the questions. How about we get into one of the questions? So I'm not sure if he wanted this to be. Well, let's see what he says first, because I don't even know what he said. So this could be dangerous.
Okay, let's set it up. What kind of question are we talking about?
Aaron, go.
Okay, so this is a new segment that we are trying out. It's called Runners Anonymous. If you have any questions about running, if you have anything you want to vent about running, anything running adjacent that you would like our takes on, or if you would like us to provide feedback on, send a voice message to the DMs of the PR Project on Instagram, or send a voice memo to our email address, which is the.pr.project@gmail.com. Is that correct?
No, it's theprproject.show@gmail.
Right. So Yeah, if you want, and we'll keep it anonymous. We won't tell anybody who you are, but we want to be able to provide some feedback and get some questions from our audience, maybe our audience outside of the chat, and we'll riff on whatever you guys have. So Steve said he just came for the McDonald's. I feel you. Sometimes that McDonald's is clutch. Sometimes that McDonald's is clutch, and they always offer. So it's nice.
All right. Sorry, we'll do one really quick, and then we have a special guest coming on the show very shortly. Let's the first one is, I don't know if this is supposed to be anonymous or not, so I'll just hit play first, and hopefully he doesn't say anything wild because I have not listened to it. Here we go. This is the first one of. That's not it.
Tommy Guns. I've been thinking about this question all day, and I need to know if you had to go run a marathon next week, but we're limited to throwback shoes. I mean, I'm talking old school New Balances, old school Triumphs from Saucony, all the ones that are kind of hip now. What are you choosing and why? I mean, I think I would personally go Triumph or maybe like a Nimbus 14. But yeah, I need to know your thoughts and the whole gang. Let me know.
Great question. Great question.
Okay, I mean, because I don't really know. I just started running fairly recently, but like I feel like I'd have to go with like the New Balance, like the ones that look like dad shoes now, but they were like performance back then.
The
like huh?
No,
not the like the ones that look cool now, like with all the different colors and stuff like that. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the 990s.
990s, yeah. I probably would have to do something like that. What about you, Aaron?
I'm going Bill Bowerman waffle trainer, bro. If I'm gonna tear my legs up, at least let me do something. I'm talking about like let me get a pair straight from like the Nike museum, like the old joints. Like I want ones that Bill Bowerman made himself.
No, you want the one. You want the ones in the showcase at in Eugene at the hotel.
Yeah, let me just because I mean all the rest of them gonna feel like that anyway. So
yeah. What about you, Gary? Oh, Gary already has his sitting next to him.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say I think I'll probably go with, I don't know what year Pegasus it was, but I know in the late 1900s I ran my first marathon in a pair of Pegasus, like 7.
Yeah.
Maybe 10. I grabbed those again because those seem to work out okay for me.
It's not a bad. I like that question. That's not a bad question. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just wish I knew more about some of the older shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because the fact that some of these people like ran, these races at those paces in those shoes is just so crazy. But
if you're an older runner here in the chat, let us know. Like if you got some.
Let us know if you got some old shoes lying around that you want to show off someday. But yeah, just with no further ado. Speaking of fast folks that run crazy times in shoes in general, we have a fellow Leo, like that's the most important part. Fellow Leo coming to the show, Rory Linkletter. Welcome to the show, Rory. How are you doing today, bro?
I'm doing well. I was shocked to hear it referred to as the late 1900s, just barely. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call it the late 1900s, but that's when I was born, so that just show my age.
I mean, Gary was born in the early 1900s, so I mean, he has to like differentiate what's going on.
I would have said the 90s. I would have said the 90s.
I mean, I ran it in the 90s, but I was born in the 70s, so
there we go.
Yeah, hard air quotes on the 70s, like he meant like 70. I'm sorry, Gary. Gary's not that old. He just, we just like to talk about him.
He's experienced. He's seasoned.
Yeah.
Seasoned, very seasoned. Yeah, a little salty. Yeah. So Roy, thanks so much for joining us on the show, man. What's going on in your world right now?
Yeah, so I am in the throes of marathon training, getting ready for the Paris Olympics. I did a 25-mile long run with some hills this morning. And since then, I've just been resting and recovering, and just watched the last day of the U.S. Olympic track trials and got to watch some pretty awesome races. So it's been a good Sunday thus far.
we've all been keeping a close eye on the trials. It's super fun to watch people stamp their tickets, and like you get to see the culmination of the work that they put in their whole lives to get to that moment. And you hit the Olympic standard in Seville just recently, and pretty much stamped your ticket to the Paris Olympics, and now you're training for that. How was that moment? How did that feel to accomplish that and to check that off of your bucket list? I'm sure it was something that you were very it was very high on your list to get done.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, I've never felt more pressure going into a race than knowing that that was my opportunity to punch my ticket to the games. I was, as ready as I could have been, but still the weight of the moment was huge. And it was, once I crossed that line, I was just ecstatic. Like, I was letting out like guttural screams, and then I vomited on the street, and then I laid there for a minute, and then I got up and started celebrating again, and it was just surreal. And then like there was kind of like a 2-week come down period from that kind of high, because it's just like everything you've ever worked for. This sport is kind of like in other sports, how you're defined by whether or not you win, an NBA championship or a Super Bowl. In our sport, you're defined by your Olympic performances or whether or not you're an Olympian. And at the highest levels, that's what people care about. And it felt like a huge weight to be lifted off my shoulders just to cross the line in that standard.
Now, Canada doesn't have like the trials like we had the U.S. here in Orlando. So how does that work? Like, were you told like if you hit the standard in Seville, you're in, or were you going to be in anyway, and then you have to try to hit the standard later? Like, how does that work for Canada?
Yeah, so I wasn't necessarily a lock when I crossed the finish line, but I had a great feeling that it put me in a really strong position, because that's just a really tough standard to hit. So at the time, I was the second Canadian to hit the standard behind Cam Levins, and basically 2 people had to jump in front of my time in the last 3 months that were open to qualifying. And it seemed possible, but pretty unlikely. So I was like, hey, I checked the box and what I needed to do, which was hit that standard. And now I can't worry too much about what other people are going to do. So I just treated it as if, hey, I'm going to prepare like I'm going. And if someone knocks me off and I don't make it, more power to them for their accomplishment. But I did what I set out to do.
Man, super duper congrats though, because like Aaron said, like that's got to be. I mean, I'm sure. When did you start dreaming about the Olympics? Like, do you remember like the moment you were like, I want to get there?
Yeah, I think honestly it was the 2012 London Games. I was in high school at the time, and I was pretty good at running at this point. Not crazy good, but good enough where I knew I was going to go to college and continue to do it after high school. And I remember specifically watching the 10K on the track, and it was the one where Galen Rupp medaled. And I was just like, wow, like if this guy can do this, like that's like kind of the bar to reach for, is just like watching someone, accomplish the highest level, that I had loosely followed their career. I'd known of who Galen Rupp was at the time. So that was kind of crazy, is to watch Galen get a medal in London. And I think he was the first guy to medal in the 10,000 from the U.S. since like Billy Mills in the 70s, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So you had this 2 weeks of floating on cloud 9 after hitting a standard. And then I'm sure you had the moment of, now I have to train and get prepared and do it all over again. How's training going? And how is it to feel like, okay, now I know I have to lock in and go even harder this time around?
Yeah. So the first 6 weeks of my training block, so like mid to late spring, when I started to put the pieces in place to start this build towards Paris, most stressful time of my whole career, because all I could think about was, hey, you've made it. All you can do is screw it up now, right? Like this fear of like getting injured or having something pop up, it was looming over me. But now, as I get closer to the race, it is a lot of joy and excitement for the race. And I feel confident, like, hey, I've made it this far now into the block. I'm healthy. I'm fit. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. It's kind of now it's starting to be an exciting time. Whereas before, honestly, I was surprised how much stress I felt just because I was so worried about like having that moment taken away after all the hard work that went into it.
Man, and what I was just thinking about during that whole section while you were talking about like having made it and now you got to do the other parts of this work to get ready. Like, how much does it help that you have a coach that's done that before?
Absolutely. I mean, Ryan Hall that's why I chose him when I was looking for a coach 2.5 years ago. After I left NAZ Elite, I was like, in my mind, I just need someone who's been where I'm trying to go. Like that was like the number one prerequisite for myself. And I don't know why, but I valued that so much in Ryan. And he was an epic athlete, an athlete that I can only dream to become on that level. I still have so much work to do if I ever want to accomplish the things he has in this sport. But he's done a great job of preparing me for the biggest moments in my career and teaching me very valuable lessons and learning about who I am and teaching to who I am, not just his general experience. A lot of great runners, their drawback as coaches is that they can only see things through the lens of their own personal experience. And I feel like Ryan has mastered both growing from his personal experience and outside of it in other people's experiences.
Yeah. And also, and so right around that same time when you joined on with Ryan, you also gained a new partnership with PUMA. And how has that helped you as a professional?
The segue game. The segue game was crazy.
We learning over here. So how much has PUMA being in your corner helped you as a professional athlete?
I mean, it makes it a lot better when I don't have to worry about my family and taking care of my family financially, that I have the support and backing of a company like PUMA. You know, I still worry about those things, though. I shouldn't have said that, because it's never enough, right? But at least being in a position where I've got the support of a big company like PUMA that's making incredible products, that's helping me run fast, stay healthy, and chase my dreams, and keeping me in the sport. That's what's so valuable. Because when I left Hoka, in the end of 2021, there was no guarantee that there was going to be another company that was going to bet on me. I was at the lowest point in my career. I hadn't done anything good in the last, 6 months of my time at NAZ. And, it's hard to get a second sponsor. The second sponsorship is oftentimes harder than the first, because you're like old news in a lot of ways. So PUMA's support has been, huge, and they've been a really fun company to work with, and they're making some really cool product that has helped me also get better. So
yeah, we absolutely love the DV8 Nitro Elite 3. We've all gotten a pair, and I've been like blown away by how good the shoe is. How much collaboration and how much feedback are you giving to PUMA with the development of the new shoes? Like, do they ask for feedback? Do they want to hear what their athletes say about the shoes?
Absolutely. And also, just to add to the DV8 threes, that's what I wore for 25 miles this morning. So it was battle tested for me. And I loved it. And my legs feel good coming off of it, which is big. And I had to run, a variety of paces and terrains. So it was quite good for what I was doing out there. But yeah, I've had the opportunity, because I am sample size, so a lot of the prototypes end up being sent my way, and they ask me to fill out a questionnaire about my experience. And I've met with the product team and talked with them about what I look for in a super shoe, what I look for in a trainer, what might be missing from their shoe line. And they are constantly reinventing the wheel in a lot of ways. And I think it's really cool, because I think it's easy for shoe innovation to get stale once we kind of reach a status quo. But I think what PUMA's done great is they've pushed past status quo and made things that are maybe a little bit, odd to the eye, or, make you look at that shoe like the Fast R2 and you're like, wait, why does this thing have a toe toe off that goes in front of the shoe. Like, what is that piece right there? Like what, and I ask those questions, and it's cool to hear the thoughts that go into those decisions that they've made in how they design the shoes. And yeah, it's really fun to be a part of that process.
I know that Fast R2 is a funky looking shoe, but I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. I actually felt like it's a really fast shoe. I got some good miles out of that for sure.
Yeah, that's what I wore in Seville. So that's what got me my Olympic qualifier. It was the first marathon I got to wear that shoe in, and it passed the test. I mean, I was deep in that race, and my legs were still working. And I think that's the number one test for a shoe is how well am I how well am I coming off the ground 25 miles in.
Yeah, a lot of shoes feel good at mile 10. Have you decided, or can you say like which shoes you're gonna lace up in Paris?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll probably stick with the Fast R2, but I have been using the Deviate Elite 3 in training a lot, and I do like it. I raced in it this past weekend in Boston for the 10K, but I kind of want to lean on, like, if it isn't broke, don't fix it kind of mentality with how well the last marathon went in the Fast R2. As much as I love just new shoes and trying new things, I think this is one of those where it's like, I'm just going to stick with what's worked for me. And I felt really good at the end of Seville, so I might as well follow in that path.
So I have two questions that kind of round this up, because I know you gotta probably get some sleep or go run again or something crazy like that. Number one, so you when you got with Ryan, you dropped in 2 years apart. Basically, you dropped 4 or 6 minute PR or 4 minute PR. In the marathon?
Yeah, when I joined on with Ryan, I was a 2:12:50 marathoner. And my first marathon under Ryan, I ran 2:10. And then this last one was a 2:08, so 2 minutes chunk here and there. Yeah. And there were some good races in between those two that just didn't have the times because I was in Budapest for the World Champs last summer, and it was like over 80 degrees at the start of the race. So I wasn't going to run a personal best in those conditions. So, and I probably won't, well, I can guarantee you I will not run a personal best in Paris. The course is brutal. The temperature is going to be hot. If I run a personal best, something crazy happened. Maybe I took a wrong turn.
No. Hopefully the PUMA shoes that you picked happened, you know?
Yeah.
And so like one of the reasons why we, number one, the reason why you're on the show with us today is because obviously PUMA is powering the Summer of Speed, and this whole Summer of Speed thing for us is like a reason for us and then other people in the community to get together remotely to like get after it, get faster, have some fun at shorter races in the summer, and then maybe send it in those like fall marathons. Like, how important to you is like getting in some of those 5Ks and 10Ks in your off season, like while you're kind of building? How important is that like to your training?
Well, it's like, honestly, the recipe for me is to do a speed block and then jump right into marathon training. It's almost exclusively what I do at this point. So for my Seville build, I ran a mile about 11 weeks out, and I broke 4 for the first time in my life, 11 weeks before I ran my best marathon ever. So speed is a huge component of the big picture. And I definitely value the idea of chasing the shorter races, even as like time goes on, it's less enticing for me. Like, there's less excitement to step down in distance. A lot of times it's A, I'm getting my butt kicked by all these fast dudes, and B, it's like not the natural training that I've grown to get better at. Like, the marathon stuff now feels so at home. So I have to step outside of my comfort zone to run these shorter races now. And I think that there's a lot of growth in that. So I totally encourage summer speed. You gotta crank up that speed because the fall marathons are coming. And it's honestly, depending on where you live, training for long stuff in the summer can be brutal if you're dealing with heat and humidity. So, getting on the track and ripping some 200s and 400s ain't so bad, but doing a long run is brutal.
Hey man, sure. I'll send you that 100. I'll send you that $100. that was you explained summer speed better than we could ever do it. So appreciate you, man.
glad I believe in it. So
all right, man. So this is a serious question. So get your I see you got your thinking cap on. This is important. Kendrick or Drake? So the reason why I'm asking you is because when I first like found your content, like when I first found you out there like on the roads, I think I mentioned this to you before. Like every video that was like sweet and you're out there going crazy, you had Drake playing, you know, and it was a vibe, you know. And so like when this is all going down, of course, like I'm like fellow Canadian, I'm thinking about you. Like, are you okay? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I love this question first off, but the honest answer is like Kendrick by a million, but I'm still going to listen to both of their music and enjoy it. So like, it's not going to change my listening stuff, but like Kendrick is way better, a lyrical genius. So like, it was like fighting a knife in a gunfight. You know what I mean? Like Drake didn't have a chance.
Yeah. I see. I think we all appreciate that take. I mean, because Drake is going to be fine. You know, like
he's okay.
Yeah, he maybe just need to, you know, lay low, maybe go bowling or something like that, you know, for a little while, and then he'll come back and we'll all be dancing in the next round.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But thanks so much for being on the show. Let us know if you need anything. You know, we're here for you, Rory.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll just be seeing you at some fall races this year. I mean, I'm sure we'll be at a major together at some point in the next little bit.
All right, for sure. Good luck over there in Paris. We will be watching.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Thanks, man. Peace out.
Thanks, Rory.
Sweet. Oh man, that was cool. Cool. Yeah, K-Dot for the win. But yeah, no, that's awesome though. I mean, because like I think we all inherently know that like summer of speed or just the concept of going after some shorter races can be fun and easier and all that stuff. But to hear like a professional that like whose livelihood like depends on him performing is like, yeah, like go rip some speed, you know.
And he had an example. He brought an example. Like I ran under 4 for the mile, which is insane in and of itself.
A marathoner running under 4 in the mile in training for the marathon.
In my mind, anybody running 4 in the mile, really. And I know there's been a time to do it since Roger Bannister, but it's still like an awesome achievement. You know.
Yeah, especially I went after that sub 5 last year and got 8 up.
Smoked. Can we just take a moment to acknowledge that, you know, our last guest was an Olympian, and our most recent guest is a upcoming Olympian.
Oh, damn.
So
PUMA for the win, bro.
The Summer of Speed for the win. You know, if you want to be on Summer of Speed, either have to run in the Olympics or qualify for the Olympics. You know, it's pretty easy standard. You know, it's pretty easy.
We're
not asking much. We're not asking much, folks.
No,
it's regular stuff.
It's actually really regular. Next up is Usain Bolt, guys. But while we were on the show, I just got to nerd out on the trials really quick again. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone just dropped a world record in the 400-meter hurdle in the final 50-65. Dropped a world record in the trials. And it wasn't like anybody was pushing her to get there.
No, nobody near her.
No.
Nobody near her.
Won by 2 seconds.
That's a long time.
That is an eternity.
Yeah, that's a long time.
Her goal. Her goal is sub 50, right? Like that's it's Paris.
She's knocking on the door.
She dropped sub 50 in Paris.
Was it 50-65? You said?
Yeah, she's dropping.
It's still like in that short amount of time. That's still a huge number to drop.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna doubt her. I can't.
You'd be a fool to do so. You'd be a fool to doubt her.
But
who's that lady from the Netherlands? The other hurdler from the Netherlands?
Fem Cabal.
Fem Cabal, yeah.
She could push her to a sub 50. I think she's got the
Yeah, like that. Like that's the other thing too. Like you have to. Someone like in my I guess I'm like thinking for her, but like someone like her, like Sydney, is only thinking about the Olympics. You know what I mean? Like everything she's doing right now, like Rai Benjamin, like jogging it in, like it's like people like that are only thinking about the gold. They're like, they obviously don't want to lose at this level competitively, but her pushing for that 50, 65 definitely probably was like within like coaches, okay, go do this, do that, go for it, push here, all that. This isn't like I'm just gonna go for it now because this is my moment. This is all like a mathematical. This is all a game for her. Like, okay, next level, I'm fitter now. Go back, train, do it again. And if she's running against somebody that's right on her heels, I could so see sub 50. That'd be crazy.
Yeah,
insane.
All right, do y'all want to do one more Runners Anonymous?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. One more Runners Anonymous. And if you're listening to the show and you like, you know what, I have a question or something funny or like a pet peeve or something like that you want to share with us, hurry up right now. Go to the PR Project's Instagram and send us a voice memo and we will play it. Here we go. He didn't say his name in the last one, so I won't. So we're just gonna keep it anonymous. It's Runners Anonymous. So unless you say your name, we won't know who you are. And I have no idea what this is gonna say. So sorry, ladies and gentlemen, if it's not good.
Training discipline isn't hard for me, but kitchen discipline is. What's the secret to eating right during a marathon training block or, for that next big race?
All right. That's a good one.
This is something I've been trying to figure out myself, to be honest with you.
Has anybody on the PR Project figured out the nutrition game?
What if I told you that there is no such thing as eating wrong during a marathon training block?
Right.
Because you have to eat all the things. Like you're asking so much of your body that eating is an important part of recovery, and it's an important part of being able to fuel your body and feed your body. So I would say, realistically, there is, you don't want to just be slamming pizzas every day, but
right.
I think you have a little more latitude during a marathon block to eat more food and to maybe crank up the carbs, even if, it's not the greatest carbs, because you want to be fueled. You want to be ready. And as a former fluffy guy, I know I can get in my own way with that sometimes, because I'm constantly thinking about, is this going to make me gain weight? Is this going to change the number on the scale? It's a lot of toxic things sometimes, I think. But in marathon training, you have to listen to your body. And if your body wants food, give your body food. Me personally, during the week, I try to stay away from junk as much as possible. And then sometimes I kind of while out a little bit on the weekends. But if you can create that routine during the week, I know most of us have regular jobs, and just kind of put everything together during the week. Make sure you're fueling enough, but make sure you're staying away from the Oreos and the ice cream and all the crazy stuff. And then treat yourself a bit on the weekend. That might be a way to start.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Tommy.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I feel like sugar is about the only thing that I would say that I try to focus on, especially as I get closer and closer to the race, staying away from not closer and closer, but as the mileage goes up, I try to be a little more aware of like the sugar intake and stuff that would like cause inflammation and just in general. Because there's no like redeeming value of like of sugar. Like there's like, it doesn't help us in training at all for real. And I'm going to put it might just like eating a donut or like a cupcake every day or like Oreos, like stuff that just like makes us feel good. But I think like the inflammation and like, cause you're asking your body to do a lot. You're asking your body to also recover fairly quickly to do it again. And I think that's where like too much sugar or like not cutting that a little bit, like Aaron said, like on the weekend, sometimes like I just had 2 cupcakes from Bakehouse 46 like today. And I smashed them with no thought or like judgment on the move at all. But like if I did it like 2-3 days in a row, then I'd be like, okay, you need to chill, because like I just want to stay as healthy as possible, like physically healthy, not like, oh, I need to eat better. But then in training, I try my best to be aware of the protein, like make sure I'm getting protein, especially as a vegan, make sure I'm getting that protein, make sure I'm getting like fat. And I try to check off the pillars, or get, carbs, fat, protein. I just try to go through those at least, but everything else is fair. Everything's fair game as long as I'm getting what your body actually needs. I'm not going to judge anything. Like if I got to do like an Impossible Burger one day, because I'm hungry and some fries, that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And what I was going to follow up with, along the lines of what you were just saying and what Alexa said here is, I feel like focusing on getting enough protein and carbs within 30 minutes or so is clutch. That's something I've been focusing on as well. Even if it's just a couple scoops of protein and water, or protein powder and water, within 30 minutes is important to me. It's something I've been focusing on lately. I've actually been adding like Fairlife chocolate milk, which has additional protein, and then this couple scoops of protein powder, because the water and protein powder is gross.
Sure.
But in a pinch, I'll do what I can.
For that, for sure.
So,
and I mean, that's what those powders are made for, is to do that right away. I think for a long time, to be honest, I was kind of like, I was doing that, but then I was kind of subbing it for real food, almost like not real food, but real protein, and it's like, I think you still got to, like, especially for me, like I need to make sure I do those, because you need the muscle buildup too. Like, even if you're not going to do workouts and like in the gym, you're not doing cross training, you still need your muscles to like repair quickly and get stronger. You don't want to just be on a tightrope the whole time. Like I think that's where like fatigue and stuff comes in.
And I think people who eat meat, they're still using the protein powder as well. So it's either a supplement onto whatever protein you're using, or like, look, this is what I have for right now. I'm going to use it because I need it. And so that's what it's there for.
100%.
Yeah. And if you guys remember Kate Keene that we interviewed in Eugene, that ran the half marathon, she started a campaign called Fed Girl Summer. And it's just about making sure you are hitting your nutritional needs, and you are focusing on getting enough food, because especially for women, a lot of times, the pressures of society make them feel like they have to stay super thin, and they're very conscious of how they look in the mirror or what the number on the scale says. But when you're training, when you're working hard, when you're asking so much of your body, staying fed and staying nutritionally satisfied and satiated is very important. It's a training plus and not a takeaway. So shout out to her, because I think that's a great message to push and to let women know, like, you've got to eat. You've got to make sure you're getting your calories in.
And I've seen a lot of nutritionists and other marathon runners talk about the fact that people think you're going to lose weight training for a marathon. It's really not the case, because you are eating to fuel your body, and you're going to eat a little bit more calories than what you probably think you should, or that you think you're burning more calories than you're putting in, but you're really not. But your body is like, I need more fuel because you're putting me through the ringer right now. And you're probably going to gain a few pounds, and that's fine. That's, that is the natural way these things work. Now, if you're walking 45 minutes every day and you're still burning off the same calories, but you're not burning off the energy like you are, so you're not going to eat as much. But if you're running like 60 miles a week plus, you're going to want to eat, and you're going to need to eat to maintain, this lifestyle that you've grown yourself accustomed to.
This is a good question.
Sure. Oh, I clicked it at the same time. Jeff Vito asks, is there a benefit benefits with protein intake before protein intake, especially before a long run or workout? Benefits post-run? Yes. Just curious about pre-run. I would say protein pre-run or pre-workout or pre-long run is tricky, because you don't know how your gut and how your GI, your digestive system is going to be able to tolerate protein before the run. That's why we try to keep it simple with carbs, because carbs are easily accessible energy for your body. The protein, it gets a little tricky. You really want to lock in on that protein after the run for recovery purposes, because that's where it shines, is healing the muscles. Because as we run, especially those harder runs, especially those longer runs, our muscles get those micro tears. That's how they grow. But the protein jumps in there, and they get their, recovery kits, and they start recovering and working on those muscles. So post run, some people say you want to get it right in that anabolic window of 15 to 30 minutes after a hard workout. You want to get the protein into your system so it can start its work. So I would say, definitely post run. Pre-run, a little, maybe not.
Yeah, and then there's
that being said, a pre-run meal is not off the table either. You know, oatmeal, a bagel with cream cheese or some jam, a bagel with peanut butter, something, a banana. It is recommended that you have something in your system pre-run because you need that fuel, especially if you're doing a long run. There's a number of nutritionists on Instagram, well reputable, who kind of have these plans and graphs that show you like good meals to eat prior to whatever kind of run you're going to do. Heather Feathers is one. Megan Featherstone is one. I think she's gonna beat me out one of these days.
Heather Feathers. But yeah, but honestly, like, you know, like there's so much information out there, YouTube, Instagram, there's people that'll say one thing, and there's people like say those guys are idiots, you know, it's this thing. So like you really, it's all trial and error too. There is definitely some science, and I think everyone is like post workout is the time when your body is reaching for all these different nutrients to rehab quick. And I think that's the best time. But then there's like, you have like amino powders that like will say pre or post. So if like you just want something to like, you know, I want to feel like I'm getting a jump on this recovery, there's amino acids that you can take before the run, and that's not heavy. That's not even protein. I mean, it's a version, or it's like part of what helps protein do the rehab part, a recovery part. But I've done that too before. It's like I've kind of played with that, and I've done like, you know, creatine and stuff like that, creatine powders that you can take first thing in the morning, just after you wake up on an empty stomach, or before a run. So there's all these different options, and you can kind of play with that as you go like through like this running journey and see what works for you. But yeah, it's a good question, and like that's a good conversation to have.
I think the number one thing about pre-run meals and just pre-run nutrition is you want to avoid the poop monster, man. That's the number one thing.
That's really what it is.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yep. Cold browns are not. You know, it's not fun.
Yeah, no, cold browns are. I mean, because like it'll ruin a workout. It'll ruin a run for sure.
Especially if you don't have some backup on the route. You know, like, hey, where are my bathroom routes here? You know, like, because sometimes I know for us, we're just out in the middle of nowhere. There is.
You know what you don't want to do?
There's no.
You know what you don't want to do is you don't want to go to a. I won't name any names, but you don't want to go to Nacho Grill in Ferndale. If you're training for a marathon, you do. If you're not, like, if it's like, hey, I'm not training for nothing, go to Nacho Grill in Ferndale. It's a park in this little grocery store parking lot. It's fire nachos. But there's a possibility that you may be dealing with the consequences of your actions on a couple runs after. That's all I'm saying.
All right, so no, we're not burying the lead anymore. We need to get to the shoe giveaway.
I forgot. I'm like, wait, burying what lead? We're doing what we're supposed to do here, bro.
63 minutes. We've ran the gamut of topics, but they're here for shoes. They want to win shoes. They've been hanging on. They deserve shoes.
I do want to point out that you had a really good segue earlier. Now it went from
Tommy stepped on it, bro. Tommy stepped on it. He just should have just let it breathe. You know, it was nice, but I appreciate the acknowledgement. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I know. I was like, yo, great segue. I got so happy. I was like, well, this guy's a monster.
Tommy literally high-fived you to the screen.
My bad. All right, so we're sharing screens here. We're picking the wheel of names.
Brown sugar cinnamon.
Yep.
What?
David McQuaid said Pop-Tarts before a long run, so good. And I said brown sugar cinnamon for the win.
Oh, brown sugar cinnamon is the only way to go for real.
Anything else is a treat in my mind. Like
brown sugar cinnamon is a grown up Pop-Tart. Everything else is childish.
No, right. Like, yeah. I mean, for me, I'll eat it. I'll double up on those.
Yeah, I mean, if you got the ones with the confetti, if you getting confetti Pop-Tarts, you need to go back to school.
Yeah,
you need to be in school.
I got the double chocolate a couple weeks ago, and that was not for a pre-run at all. That was for me.
So the brown sugar cinnamon ones are vegan, so I can mess with those. But like I wish the s'mores. I remember the s'mores being good back in the day. Are they good now?
S'mores are.
It's been a while.
As an adult, are they good? All right, we're hitting the wheel. All right, ready to go. This is for number one, really quick. Big shout out to PUMA. Summer Speed is powered by PUMA. They have collabed with us for 12 weeks to bring you guys the opportunities to win a pair of Deviate Nitro 3s. They are amazing shoes. Miles have been put up in these. So if you win the shoe, great, because I think they're about to come out like tomorrow. So we're gonna
the Elites are coming out tomorrow, right?
Elites come out tomorrow, yeah. But we're spinning the wheel for a Deviate Nitro 3. Thank you so much, PUMA, for sponsoring this part of the show. Here we go. Click to spin. Who's gonna be the winner,
Aaron? Kelly Clarkson.
Oh, shout out. Congratulations, Jason Clinton. You have won a pair of Deviate Nitro 3s. Congratulations. Big shout out to PUMA. That is our third giveaway. Our third shoe giveaway. We have approximately 9 more to do. Is that correct? Yes, 9 more to do.
Yeah.
Math. Yeah. Congratulations, Jason. Awesome. And thank you to everybody else for stopping through. Thank you so much for always supporting us and being here. And make sure the segment of Runners Anonymous will continue to keep going. Make it funny, make it cool, make it good questions like we had today, and let's just keep that rolling, because I think that'll be a fun way to include the audience and include people outside of our chat that's always here. But even the people in the chat that normally ask questions in written form, throw us a voice memo.
Ask us the question that you don't want us to have your name tagged to. Like we'll keep it anonymous. And
yeah, we didn't say any names today.
It doesn't have to be a question either. It could be a hot take. Like we'll riff off a hot take for sure. Like because we got them. We just need that push. To get them out.
I want to say some things so bad. If somebody could just tee it up,
we're
going crazy. And it's not our fault. We didn't say it. We just talking about it.
Right. So let us hear it. Let us have it.
I want people's hot takes about dating apps and run clubs. Let's go. Let's go all the way there.
Can somebody please say what they feel about the dating app thingy, or the run clubs are for the new dating app thing, and the trend that we're seeing of like videos and stuff, all about it, and like we don't have any thoughts about it, but we will
openly discuss them next week if there's a question about it.
Somebody please let us know how you feel so we can just see if we agree with you or not. Let's get that conversation going, please. But until next time, PR Project over and out.
Happy running.
If you want to be on the show, become an Olympian and run with PUMA.
All right. See ya.
Peace.